Well, here's a live look from Killeen right now, just a day after a gunman opened fire, killing 3 people and injuring 16 others at Fort Hood before turning the gun on himself.
A 34-year-old specialist Ivan Lopez has been identified as the shooter. Investigators are now trying to figure out what sparked that shooting. At a press conference just a short while ago, officials say they're not ruling out anything at this point, but Fort Hood Senior Officer Lieutenant General Mark Milley said earlier today that investigators are looking into whether Lopez had a verbal altercation with another soldier or soldiers before Wednesday's shooting.
Now, this shooting has obviously left people near Fort Hood and Killeen shaken up, particularly for family members and friends of people who were on base.
Our own Audrey Castareno has been in Killeen since last night. She joins us live with more. Audrey.
Well, 4 workers are in the hospital tonight after a blowout at an oil well in Eddy County yesterday morning. Authorities were called out to the site on Shugart Road close to US 82 in Loco Hills. Officials say the workers were doing maintenance when a seal failed, causing a great amount of pressure to build, then release. One of the injured was airlifted to Lubbock. The others were treated at local hospitals. Safety personnel from the companies involved were sent to assist state police with their investigation.
New at 6 tonight, an Odessa woman is fighting for her life after police say she was shot by her boyfriend last night. Now that boyfriend is behind bars. Justin Creed joins us from where the shooting happened with more. Justin. At tomorrow morning's Commissioner's Court, Midland County will make a decision on a grant from the state for body cameras for the sheriff's office. Now, originally the grant was proposed to the city police department, but they passed on it, and the sheriff's office showed interest. Now, the grant is for $17,000. At this time, it's not clear what kind of body cameras the department would use. Several other law enforcement agencies in the state currently use body cameras.
Tom, we're continuing to follow a hazmat situation out of Midland. Take a look at this video. You can see heavy smoke billowing out into the sky. Now, apparently there was an explosion right before flames erupted, and thousands in the area were even left without power. It happened earlier this afternoon off Rankin Highway and I-20. Justin Creed has been out there following the situation. We begin our team coverage with him, where he's standing by live with more. Justin. We interrupt Goff to bring you some breaking news out of Midland. Now, right now, emergency crews are working a hazmat situation in South Midland. We're told it's off of Rankin Highway and I-20. Thank you, Justin. Now, like you heard, southbound Rankin Highway is closed. Any other traffic conditions, we will post those on our Facebook and website, newswest9.com. We're also told that a lot of electricity in that area. A lot of people are calling in and saying that they don't have lights, electricity. That is because of this situation. So we are working to get all of that confirmed for you, trying to get as much information out to you as possible. Like I said, stay with News West 9, newswest9.com, our Facebook and Twitter pages. And Elisa Nieves and Justin Creed will have a live report tonight at 6. But for now, we'll return you back to Goff.
Well, officials add another person to the list of those who died after a massive mudslide buried a residential community in Washington state, bringing the death toll to 4. 18 people are still unaccounted for as crews on the ground and in the air search for survivors. This couple you're seeing is from right here in the Permian Basin. That's right, Eric Baker and his wife Emily decided to sing a song from the Disney movie Frozen. Pretty good video. They actually have some really good vocal cords. Well, Andrew will be right back with sports.
This is actually the road. You can see that it's coming up to my ankles. There's actually a flood gauge behind me. You can see it's 2 feet and it's still coming down. The estimated population for the city of Midland is somewhere in the area of 120,000 people. While some may think that's too many, the city of Midland says they're preparing for even more. Although the plant sits on the state line some 40 miles away from Andrews city limits, people who live there say they still would have liked to have been notified. Right here on the 600 block of West 4th is where police spotted the suspect's vehicle and arrested White. He has been charged with murder. Big Spring police tell us the investigation is ongoing. Now, they say it's a quiet neighborhood, but Monday morning things were a little different. That's right, guys. We spent some time with the Martin County Sheriff's Office, which is part of the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force, as they searched for those who were on the run. If you've been on any social media the past few days, you've probably seen it. This Midland city limit population sign's been altered to give a different message.
I'm from Dallas, and I think it's a little ridiculous.
So do you agree with this sign?
Yeah, there's quite a few people here in Midland now.
It's no secret that we're growing and that we're growing at high rates. People who have been here for 5-10 years or even longer, they can see a real change.
And it's that change that's frustrating some who live in the tall city.
That really makes it hard to drive around town.
The estimated population for the city of Midland is somewhere in the area of 120,000 people. While some may think that's too many, the city of Midland says they're preparing for even more.
The city's planning everything so that we are ready if we hit a population of 200,000 by the year 2028. So we're expecting to see consistent growth.
Consistent growth that's put Midland on the map, being recognized by such names as Forbes and CNN, not only for growth, but also the unemployment rate. And the city says Midland growing didn't happen overnight.
Every decade, we have seen consistent growth with the exception of the 60s.
Still, the tall city's growing pains, while frustrating to many, could be worse.
If you compare Midland to Dallas, there's not too many damn people in Midland. Go to Dallas for a weekend and see how they like it there.
You know, I threw the truck and drive and I took off.
That was Eric Perez back in December. And this
Here I am facing 5 to 99.
is Eric Perez now. Perez crossed over 3 county lines in a span of 7 days back in December and January.
I think it was New Year's Day. I got pulled over in front of the airport. And I ditched the car again and took off running off foot.
Then a few days later, Perez ran again.
I was at Kelly Grimsley in Odessa. And I guess they saw my picture on the news. And they went in there trying to apprehend me. And I ran again.
But the next day, he was finally caught.
I guess that's whenever the marshals came. And I heard them pull up in front of the house. I looked out and they were jumping out. I went to run out the back door and they got me.
Now Perez is back in Martin County, bench warranted on the string of charges he racked up during his week on the run.
I'm looking at a felony 1 aggravated assault on a public servant and another evading charge.
Something Martin County Sheriff John Woodward is pleased to see happen.
It was a pretty high profile case with officers being endangered and threatened, so we're looking forward to ultimately getting some closure on it.
Perez knows he's facing serious time and has a word of advice to those who may be tempted to also run from the law.
So you're just running straight to prison. You know what I mean? The more you run, the more they're going to want to get you. Yeah. And eventually you will get caught because it isn't just local police looking for you. It's going to be everybody, wherever you run to.
The saddest part of this being Haley and her remains being found is that beautiful smile that you see up there, we're never going to get to actually see.
The past 28 months have been rough for Terry Newcomb and all those who worked tirelessly to find Haley Dunn. But Friday afternoon, hope was lost when news broke that the remains found in Scurry County last month were Haley's.
And it's nice to know that she's still not laying out there somewhere and unattended. She didn't have to lay out there. That didn't have to happen to that child.
Okay.
But it wasn't fair on her. Not fair at all.
The ladies hung a huge banner with a picture of Haley in the yard of the place Haley once called home, and the last place she was seen alive. It's the picture we've all come to recognize, a young girl in her cheerleading outfit, on the brink of adolescence.
All we're going to get to know and remember is that picture. We don't have that chance to see that smile or hear that voice.
But Newcomb says the group wouldn't have done anything differently.
We weren't going to give up. That's something we weren't going to do.
And the question as to who is responsible still lingers.
We're in this until justice is done.
The only person of interest in the case is Haley's mom's ex-boyfriend, Sean Atkins. We called Atkins' lawyer, but our calls have yet to be returned. We also went to Atkins' mom's house in Big Spring, but no one answered. However, Newcomb was quick to say this isn't the time to start pointing fingers.
It's not time to say, he did it, she did it, you know, they need to be in jail, blah, blah, blah. That's not it. This is Haley. Give her the attention that she deserves.
Still, the shock of everything has yet to set in.
We've talked about this moment a lot, you know, what if we found her, you know, and stuff like this, and we thought we were prepared. You know, we thought we were going to be okay, but we're not.
Now, Billy Dunn's lawyer, John Young, tells us that he expects Billy to return to the Colorado City area in the next few days.
He also tells us that funeral arrangements for Haley are up in the air right now because her remains have yet to be returned to her mother, and he doesn't know when authorities plan to do that. For now, Devin Sanchez, News West 9.
So, ¿ellos ya se van? That's a lot.